Okay guys, thanks for tuning back into the Doing Stuff channel. And this is going to be a troubleshooting nightmare. Well, not necessarily a nightmare, but definitely a troubleshooting experience I've had with the Toro Zero Turn MX5000. As you saw in the beginning of this video, the clicking when I would try to start this mower, and it's intermittent. It's not always like that. But every other time I try to start this mower, I would get those clicks. I'm able to start this mower, but it may or may not take 3, 4, 5, sometimes up to 10 times to try to start it. And everything on the internet and even people I've talked to says replace the starter solenoid. So to replace the starter solenoid on the Toro MX5000, you really only need a 3/8 and a 1/2 inch socket. You may even be able to get away with like a small adjustable wrench. But anyway, first step is to remove the battery red hot wire, and you want to make sure you stow that away because it's still connected to the battery. You don't want it touching anything, cause sparks, and for safety, you want to tuck it away. And so, otherwise, it's just like 2 nuts and 2 screws. The mount screws, I believe, were 3/8. I think you can get away with a 10 millimeter, um, and just an extension with a socket. The screw in the aft side or the back side of the mower is kind of hard to get to with the wires and everything connected, so definitely going to want to use a extension. And it's pretty straightforward, simple process. Just want to make sure you remove that hot wire as we did already and stow it away safely so you don't get juiced. The green and the blue wires, they just slide on and off. You may need pliers or you may need pliers to remove those. As you can see, I tried with hand. You don't want to be too rough with these small wires. You don't want to damage anything. You just want to make sure you remove it without damaging anything. And so as you can see, they just kind of slide off to those terminals. And what the green and the blue wires, those are part of the safety features that is to keep your mower from starting. If like for example, if you're above idle and you step off of the lawnmower, the safety feature the sensor under the seat is it's either the green wire or the blue wire, and it'll actually kill the ignition and not allow any more power to come from the battery. And so so those green and blue wires are more or less communication wire. I mean, it's all communication because it's wiring, but it's more of the blue and the green is more of a safety feature. As you can see here, I'm trying to get this back screw. It's just like that front one, but it's in a really tight spot. And so I'm trying to get a good view with my phone to show you guys. Taking it out is a lot easier than putting it in. You may need pliers to finesse to get it reinstalled, but other than that, this is a very, very simple job. The solenoid itself is only $13, $14 on Amazon. And so even though I made a troubleshooting mistake, this is, these starter solenoids are very prone to failing. So it's worth a shot, even if it's not necessarily needed and you're trying to troubleshoot and try to figure out why your mower is not starting. But hopefully, if you're watching this video, I can save you some headache and maybe a little time so that you can get your mower back up and going. And so this is just footage of me removing the solenoid, taking my time, not in no big hurry. More more than anything, I was just trying to make sure I was able to record the process. And I'm just loosening the mount bolts now. And once those mount bolts are out, you could just go ahead and remove the entire solenoid. It's a very simple deal. And these solenoids, they fail a lot. And that's why the entire internet, everything on YouTube, points you in the direction of replacing the solenoid when you have a starter problem or when you have a start issue. And so that's why I did it. Like I said, it's a cheap part. So I just said, you know what, let's go ahead and replace that and see what the results are going to be. So I got the starter solenoid off. So to install the starter solenoid, it's literally the opposite of what you just did. You just, remember which wire goes where. I kind of sort of temp install the wiring just so that I know that I've got everything in the right place and make sure everything lines up right. You don't necessarily have to do it that way. It's just habit of ensuring my wiring is in the correct locations. But once you get the wires in, you can still finagle and line up your holes and go ahead and install your mount bolts. And like I said earlier, it's just a 10 millimeter. It's very simple. We'll go ahead and speed this up to get to the results of replacing the solenoid. Get on. All right, guys, so we made a $13 mistake. The new solenoid resulted with the same issue. So I had to take a step backwards because we actually skipped a step with our battery. And the important thing to learn from this video is that just because you're reading the correct voltage on your battery does not mean you have a good battery, because the battery needs to perform under a load. And so if you don't have the right current amperage coming from your battery, then you can look at your solenoid as like a current reader. And if the current isn't enough, then the solenoid will not allow the power to go to your starter. So that's why you had the clicking. Doesn't mean the solenoid's bad. It actually means the solenoid's doing what it's supposed to do, because the current coming from the battery was not enough. With the new battery, now 100% every time it starts up.